Are you ready for some collard greens and black-eyed peas and cornbread? Then let's do it. So what's up, YouTube? I'm Charmaine Jamil and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I am doing a cooking session and we are cooking collard greens. I went and bought some fresh collard greens from Publix. This had a taste for some black-eyed peas and rice. I have just really been having this, feeling that I just wanted some really, good cooking, soul food. And okay, so when I buy collards, I like to buy the fresh bundle of collards where I have to basically take them off the stem. Now I will say, depending on what store that you get them from, a lot of them don't come kind of already pre-washed, have the bottom chopped off, where they actually look clean. I mean, I am going to clean them, but a lot of times I don't buy collards from the grocery store if if it literally looks like it came out of the field. I just right out of the field. I don't buy collards like that. So I just buy the ones where it at least looks like the store gave a little effort to kind of take them off. But that's how I take out the stem. I just go up the middle, breaking them apart, and just pull the stem right from in between there. All right, so the next thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna get a big pot, and then we're gonna cut up our collard greens. I like to first get all of the collards off of the stem, and then I just kind of stack them up. I mean, it doesn't really matter how much you stack them up. It just depends on how you want to get your slice. But once you get them stacked up like that, then you'll just roll them up as if you're rolling up sushi. And then just get a knife and then cut them. I don't cut mine too thick. Try to get them at at least a little nice size there. So a medium to small slice would work. It just all depends. Some people like to get their collard greens and then they just kind of, break them apart that way. I just don't like eating big leaves of collards like that. That's why I like to cut mine up. Our perfect shredded collard greens. As you can see, that does not take long to do at all. The next thing that we're going to do is pour in, I'm gonna add some salt in here, in vinegar and salt. The vinegar is going to help clean any residue off the collard greens, as well as the salt is going to help kind of give a textured rub against the collards as you're rinsing and cleaning them off. So that's why I like to add salt in there, not necessarily for seasoning or taste of the collards, but it does stay in there as you're cooking them. So I'm gonna add in some white vinegar. I actually brought some more. Okay, there we go. Just adding in some more vinegar. Now I'm gonna put some water in here, like that. All right, so now that we have our water boiling for our quick boil of our black-eyed peas, I'm going to add in, because again, I'm not feeding a lot of people, so I'm just gonna do 2 cups of the black-eyed peas, because these do expand as well. So I'm just gonna put in a cup, or actually I'm gonna do 2 cups. That should be good. So I'm gonna let those boil for about 2 to 3 minutes, and once they boil, I'm gonna put the lid on top of there, making sure, since I have my heat on high, I'm gonna stir them just to make sure that none of them are stuck to the bottom of the pot. Gonna put that over there, let them boil for 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna let them sit in that hot water for an hour. Our collards are doing just fine. Just let them sit in that cold water for about a good 10-15 minutes. Like I said, I already kind of bought them. You know, they were already clean, so right now I'm just kind of getting any residue off that may be on them from just sitting, you know, out in the store. All right, so now you're gonna want to make sure that you have a smoked meat. This is really what I rely on to get my collard greens to have like a really smooth seasoned taste. I don't care what anyone says, Weiler's beef bouillon cubes, these season your collard greens. You don't have to add a lot of other different spices to get them to have a really good taste. So between your smoked meat, your Weiler's, and it has to be Weiler's. I can't speak for anyone else's beef bouillon cubes, but I definitely know Weiler's will get your collard greens right. Once you have these in there, as well as the collard greens have been sitting in vinegar, so the vinegar is still going to kind of be on the collard greens. So the vinegar mixed with the bouillon cube and the smoked meat, and then you can kind of add any salt to taste, but your smoked meat is really going to give you a lot of the salt. That's really how I cook my collard greens. Okay, so I went ahead and broke out my 2 pots. This pot is going to be for our black-eyed peas, and this pot is going to be for our collard greens. What I do, I don't mind having the same type of smoked meat. If I can find, you know, 2 different kinds, like if I want to do, today we're going to use smoked turkey necks. I really like smoked turkey necks. So we're going to use smoked turkey necks in both of them. But any other day, if I did actually go in the grocery store, I actually did a grocery order pickup. But this is all that they had as far as the selection was concerned. I probably would have done like a smoked neck bone and then like a smoked turkey neck, just so they could have like, you know, 2 different meats. But since you know, it is what it is, I'm gonna use turkey necks to put in for our black-eyed peas, and then the turkey neck for our collard greens. So I'm gonna let those turkey necks cook down just a little bit, and then that's when I'll start adding, you know, just a little more. So I'm gonna let the turkey neck cook for both of those pots. Now that our collards have been sitting in our vinegar and salt for at least 15 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and rinse them off in cool water. I like to get a strainer just to make it easier. So that way, once I pour my water in there, pour that off. Okay, and make sure you're using cold water. Those are our rinsed collards. Our turkey neck has been cooking for a little while. It has gotten pretty soft. So I'm gonna take that out, and I like to, since it's one big piece of meat like this, I like to just shred it and cut it up and then put it back in my pot, then add my collards back in there. I set my collards in there. Remember, I'm gonna get my Weiler's beef bouillon cubes, and then I'm going to add that to the water that I have in here. So now I'm gonna season, basically, because this is nothing but salt water. So now I'm gonna add just a little bit of seasoning in there with my bouillon cubes. And I like to use, depending on how much collards I have, I use like 5 to 7. And since this is not a very big pot, I'm just going to use 5 of them to start with, and then just kind of go from there, and then I'll just keep kind of doing a taste test. So I'm going to add my meat back in there since it's chopped up just a little bit. Because the collards are going to, you know, I'm actually pouring some of that water in there as well. And if need be, I can add just a little bit of this water here, just so I'm making sure I'm not running out of water. Make sure we have enough water. Okay, and then you're going to just put a lid on your pot. Make sure that your heat is on a medium heat. Mine has numbers on them, so I'm cooking mine at a 4, just so they don't cook too high and burn. But if you just cook them on a medium heat and just allow them to simmer and cook, they'll turn out really, really, really well. Okay, so my black eyed peas have been sitting in that hot pot of water. What I'm gonna do is just rinse these off really quickly. As you can kind of see there, they've kind of made that film of water. So I'm going to rinse these off. So I'm going to take those. Sorry, my arm is in the way of the camera. Those off. Because remember, we were just trying to get them soft to begin with. Gonna make sure, just give it just a little salt. Remember, we already had that turkey neck, so I'm not gonna put too much salt. I'm gonna add in some pepper. I'm also going to add in just a little bit of minced garlic. And then once the black eyed peas kind of cook down a little bit, I always like to add in a Lipton onion soup in there, and that's going to give it a really, really, really good flavor. So just have your peas on, make sure your top is on, and just cook those on a medium heat as well. All right, so our collard greens have been cooking for quite some time now. I'm gonna do just a little check on them. You see that they have cooked down tremendously. That's why I said it wasn't gonna be a very big pot to begin with, but you see how all of that water that I added in there just boiled out? That's why it's really important to watch your water levels. But since the collard greens have gotten down to about this point here, they're actually pretty cooked. But what I'm gonna do, because I kind of want to wait on my black eyed peas and eat them together, I turned my heat off, and I'm just kind of doing a taste test here, where you just want to taste it, see if you want to add any season or salts or anything like that in there. Those are really good. So I'm gonna cook some rice, but I have basically turned off the heat to my collard greens, and I'm just gonna let those sit there just so they can kind of stay warm. And then I'm gonna add in some, now we're gonna add in our Lipton onion soup. our black-eyed peas are still cooking. They're really not done. It takes a while to cook black-eyed peas, but they're coming along. You can do a taste test on these as well, but it just takes a while to cook. They're coming along. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in a packet of my Lipton onion soup. But they're almost there. They just still need a little while to cook down. So some people actually like to cut up onions and any other kind of vegetable. Some people like to add in okra. Some people add in collards, you know, like a little of the leaves of the collard greens. I just like to put in a Lipton onion soup so that it gives it a really, really good flavor. It gives it that onion flavor and then some. So those are coming along. I'm gonna let those cook for another, I'm gonna turn my heat up just a little bit, but I'm gonna let those cook probably about the same amount of time that it's gonna take me to make some rice. But that should turn out really, really, really nicely. Collards. And I'm just gonna add those right here around the other side. Like that. And there you have it. That is the soul food plate that I have been wanting. I got black-eyed peas on one side and collard greens on the other side. So, all right, YouTube, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Here is my finished plate. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my black-eyed peas and collard greens. Everything looks so delicious. That is what I have been wanting. So, all right, y'all, I'll see y'all later. See you next time.